Well, welcome to another episode of the Daily Combat Podcast. I'm one of your hosts. My name's Dave Stockbridge, and joining me, as always, the double biceps are out. It's Hollywood Matt Connelly, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for joining us. And today we're going to be covering off on the Apex Sport Fest, and in particular, the arm wrestling tournament that took place. The most significant national level arm wrestling competition to take place in Adelaide last weekend. So,
for sure. Yeah.
So it was a tremendous event, a great day. You enjoyed it?
Oh, it was massive.
Yeah.
It was huge.
So, Matt, did you have something to do with organising that entire event?
Maybe. Not the entire sports festival, but all the arm wrestling side of thing.
Yeah.
With your assistance, of course. And a lot of the club members did help out.
Yep.
But yeah, we got some interstate pullers that came along, and you can see on the screen there, we've got one of the guys from Sydney who came down for the event. Went fantastically. I was there from like 7 a.m. until... what time did I leave? 11 p.m.
midnight. Yeah, it was getting there.
And you were still there.
I was still there, yeah.
You had a big day as well. You were doing the ring commentary for all the MMA events.
Just the announcing. Yeah, so I did the announcing, the stadium announcing during the course of the day, just the hype man for the day. Mm-hmm. And then in the afternoon, it was ringside for the Muay Thai and kickboxing, and then made my way over to the cage to announce the MMA card for DFC. Yeah. So a privilege as always. So thank you very much to the team at Diamondback, and really Diamondback FC are the people responsible for the Apex Sport Fest, and do a tremendous job. This is the second year in a row for the event.
Second inaugural.
Second
debut.
And somewhat marred by COVID restrictions, unfortunately, and Omicron surge, and that obviously would have had an effect on the gate takings for the day, but had no effect on the enthusiasm of the athletes that were there. And on the day, people had the opportunity of seeing a whole range of combat sports all within the same stadium. So you had, sports as disparate as modified rugby league rules, arm wrestling, medieval battles. FEMA were there, the European Medieval Martial Arts Society, demonstrating what they do, which was super interesting. Strongman, of course, as mentioned before, the kickboxing and the MMA rounded out the night. But what a fantastic concept, and beautifully executed by a wonderfully professional team, and put on something that I think all South Australians can be really proud of.
Absolutely. Yeah, it seems to be that we say this all the time, but with Diamondback FC, it seems to be the premier MMA organisation for the country, and I think our prediction is that in the next few years there will be the number one go-to MMA event that's going to be for Australia, and hopefully a bit of a sort of a feeder league maybe into the UFC. Very professional, and we're so appreciative from the arm wrestling point of view that they put on this sort of festival where they're allowing these, I don't want to call them fringe sports, but sports that don't get sort of highlighted, or they don't get the opportunity to be part of festivals normally. Yeah. So obviously they've sort of built their event around their Diamondback MMA card, and then you've got your other sports sort of sitting on the side, but each one of those gets the opportunity to showcase itself to a larger audience, which is just an amazing, wonderful thing that Diamondback is doing for those sports. So we're hugely appreciative of that.
Yeah, and I think if people are wondering why there's so many disparate activities taking place on the one day, it's very much embodied in and personified by the organiser, Craig Ike, who has played rugby league, has enjoyed wrestling, has been a part of the BJJ community, who's obviously instrumental in the MMA world, and has connections throughout that whole space. And through those connections, he's seen a way to put on an event that's, compelling viewing for those people that happen to be watching the pay-per-view wherever they may be around the world. And for those people that are in the stadium, it's a spectacular concept, and as mentioned, beautifully executed. They did a great job, and on the day, everybody walked away exhausted, but completely satisfied with what they got. You know, their $65 bought them an amazing amount of value
Absolutely.
for the day. So and as we mentioned, the MMA card was the end of the night, and before that the kickboxing was going on. But around that time there was some finals going on for the arm wrestling.
That's right. Yeah. So we ran. I think we'd started the actual tournament around 1 o'clock, and we finished it probably. I think Craig had wanted us to be done by 5:30.
Are you still going?
Maybe. No. We were pretty much wrapped up around that time, which is awesome. But the great thing was at the end of the tournament, and this is at the end of every tournament. If anyone ever goes to an arm wrestling tournament, wait until the end, because that's when everyone feels relaxed and the results are in. And everybody can just jump on the tables with everybody else, and you've got some of the best guys in the state or in the country, and they're freely just going. Anyone that wants to come up and have a go, and that's what happened. We had a lot of general public come up, and we had, I think, 7 tables or something set up, and they were fully used for the next couple of hours. This is why I left so late. I didn't want to leave, and because it was like, this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy, and this girl wanted to have a go, and this guy, and it was like, this is awesome. People are trying it because they saw the tournament taking place, but then you've got all of the pullers that are involved in the tournament are like sitting back going, no, I'm not doing anything. I'm not even going to go shake your hand because I don't lift my hand. I'll waste all my energy.
And with the arm wrestlers, like a lot of people don't. I would say a lot of people aren't aware that it's a very much. The crowd can get involved. Like, it's not like a lot. Like, you probably don't want to get in the MMA cage when the fighters had their fights and have a bit of a muck around with them. Do you? Don't want to do that. But with arm wrestling, that's probably what a lot of the spectators wait for, is that chance to jump on the table with the competitors, and in some cases these may be their idols. And I know your first experience with arm wrestling was with one of the greatest of all time, and at an event, and so that's how you came about the great sport of arm wrestling.
It was funny because with Devin Larratt, who's the world champion from Canada, who was doing a tour around Australia, and he was doing a seminar, and it was like titled, seminar, whatever. He's going to explain some training techniques, and he was doing that for about 40 minutes, and you could see everyone was just like, okay, we just want to get on the table.
Can we
just stop
play
talking
now?
about it. I'm not listening to that bit. Can I get on the table?
Show me, don't tell me.
And then I think he went, all right, who's first? And then it was 4 hours straight of him not leaving the table. I think actually he left because his elbow was bleeding.
Oh, wow.
To get a Band-Aid or something.
The skin gave out before them.
That's right. Yeah, because I was coming out of so he was in the back area, and then he was coming back in, and he's like holding his elbow. He goes, I need to get he's Canadian. I need to get a Band-Aid or something. Okay, yeah. And then he came back out, kept going. I think my elbow's
still going. And is that from?
That's from back then. No, no.
Is that from when your mum wrestled Devon?
Yeah, that's right. It never heals. I keep scratching it out.
just so the scab comes back worse.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, that's
just so you can keep feeling the pain.
That's right.
Or is it love? I don't know.
That's from Gunther's,
I just want to feel
actually.
something.
Yeah.
Gunther's. Well, well, that was a bit of an unfortunate, a missed opportunity maybe for arm wrestling here in South Australia. Yeah. We do have in South Australia one of the greats in the country, but a man that was competitive at the highest level for many years, Gunther's Boykov. Am I saying that right?
I guess so. Bykovs.
Bykovs?
Yeah.
We'll go with Bykovs.
Yeah, sounds good.
Whatever Gunther's wants is what we're going with, by the way, because the man's a fucking giant.
I don't think I've ever heard him say his last name.
He doesn't, no. It remains unsaid.
Tim has said it as Bykov, so I'll go with that.
Okay, and that way we can blame Tim.
Yeah,
I like that. And he actually resides here in South Australia, and amongst other things, he's a Lutheran minister, and he had some issues pop up in his parish, and we were a little bit excited that Gunther's may have been able to make his way over to the tables and may have been able to take on one of Australia's best. Somebody who, over recent times, has certainly proven himself, not just here in Australia, but over in the US as well. And it's a shame that Mario Tembakis didn't have that opportunity to perhaps test himself. But you had the chance to test yourself against Gunters, and you also had a chance to feel out Mario, and so you're the only person that has arm wrestled both men. Where do you think this is?
Well, it's almost like it's so hard to tell because
you have to choose. You have to choose one.
I'd say Mario at the moment.
Okay, because Mario might be watching. Gunters won't be.
That's it.
But it would have been a really interesting matchup.
It would have been fantastic.
Oh, it would have been great.
Yeah. But although the only reason I'm picking Mario is because Gunters hasn't trained or done any arm wrestling for like a year.
Yeah.
And before that, it was one time, and then a year before that, he said on Sunday, because he came along to our training session, this is my yearly session. So, but yeah, he's phenomenal. I think with a little bit of conditioning and getting back into the rhythm of things and some matches, he would, as I had a podcast with Tim, the Viking Graham, a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about a top 10 in Australia for arm wrestling, and he said if Gunters was, he put Gunters at 7.
So if Gunters was active, he's at 7.
He put Gunters at 7
even
now.
Inactive.
And he said if he was active, he would be 2 or 3, just within a few months.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then potentially looking at number 1 fairly quickly. He's that good.
Wow.
Yeah, just crazy. And you see the guy, he's like a natural athlete. I mean, 6'5", over 100 kilos.
How old is he? 45?
Yeah,
is he that age? Yeah. So he's not necessarily in prime, but he looks magnificent for somebody who's not training at the moment.
Exactly.
I mean, he looks pretty match fit.
Yeah, it's sort of like you could say to him, like, any sport you want to do, you will be good at it.
Yeah,
you will be successful at this. Whatever. Like,
just
maybe,
a gifted
maybe not
man.
maybe not being a jockey, but apart from that, or Formula One driving, I think they're quite small too. Yeah, you can't fit in the car.
Yeah,
but apart from that, just naturally, I mean, you can see the guy is just. His technique. He helped us. Actually, a lot with some advice, so that I think will play into my game leading forwards. It made a big difference. Just those little tips that he gave me. Yeah,
isn't it amazing?
The secret technique.
The alchemy. It's really interesting. Like when you get into proximity with people that are at or amongst the best, your game elevates really quickly.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Gunters was not available, and so Mario was, and Mario made his way all the way over from Sydney, and came over here and tested himself against the best that South Australia had to offer, and I guess we're going to go through that little list of. We're seeing some of the bouts in the lead up to the finals here. So maybe just talk us through the nature of the competition and the format of the tournament.
Yeah, so it was double elimination for each division. Yep. There was 4 divisions, I believe. So there was a beginners tournament, which I set up deliberately for people that were less than 6 months experience.
Okay.
Because I always want people to be able to feel like they can enter a tournament and not just go against somebody who's just going to instantly flash pin them, and then I didn't learn anything from that, and it was, they lose twice instantly, and then they're out. Yeah. So at least in a beginner's class, it didn't have a weight restriction deliberately, because it was more based around inexperience, and it was like, and it was almost like people could have just walked up and joined into that class. Yeah. And a couple of our guys from the club did really well in that. So that was one of the divisions. Double elimination means that you have to lose twice. And in the beginners class, Hamza, who is only 16 years old, one of our young regulars, he took out the left and the right, like convincingly, like very, very well. And he was rapt to get the left-hand win because he beat somebody in that he's never beaten before in training. So he was super pumped. It was great. Hitting the table with excitement, Yeah, it was really so cool to see. Yeah,
it's good to be there for that moment.
So it's beginners. Then you had under 80 kilos.
Yep.
And then under 95 kilos, and then 95 kilos and above, all the heavyweights, and that's what's on screen at the moment. So that's what Mario Timbakis was in. Steve Slipper, yeah.
And two fouls. So Peter also came a long way for this one.
Yeah, I think he's from Sydney as well. I think the Sydney Spartans are the same club that Mario is from.
Yep.
Came along for the tournament. He's a fantastic puller. It was a little unfortunate on the day. He got fouled out a couple of times.
It's a long way to come to be fouled out, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just, sometimes it goes
So here we've got one of the stronger guys here in South Australia, Steve, up against Mario, and Mario humouring him momentarily, holding him confidently before dragging the back of his hand to look at that. There we go, Mario. There we go. The single bicep up only because he was holding on to something.
That's right.
And
it's the only reason you can do a single bicep is you're holding a trophy. So we got Shane, right arm here. A couple of the local guys
versus Brandon, or the Saw Doctor versus the Beast. And these guys have had a couple of super matches together as well, and have been quite evenly matched. I've got a feeling that if the Beast here had just slipped straight to straps, he would have. There we go. Or there we go.
If he got the win, yeah. So
he got the win because of intentional slip there. He just pulled away. Yeah. Well, yeah. If it went to, if I was Brandon, I would have been going strap. He's significantly stronger in strap. And we got Tyler, the Hitman. It's Big Ben, who I think cut in a fresh mullet for this tournament.
He said when he saw himself back on video, because I played it back after the tournament had finished, and then he goes, "Oh man, I didn't know my hair looked like that." And I said, "It looks like a used car salesman."
But Ben, that was Ben's first tournament as well. And who was he up against just then? It was Ben versus.
He went against somebody.
He went against somebody else. Somebody with an arm.
Yeah, I believe they had an arm and they had put it on the table against him.
Yes.
This is what happened on the tournament day. I was refereeing most of the matches.
Yep.
And then Roman was putting the entries into the computer. Right next to me.
One of the guys from the club. Yeah, right there.
And a match happened. Like I'd refereed it.
So that's it. Yeah, that's the win. All right.
Yeah, so the match finished. I turned to Roman. He goes, "Who won that one?" And I went, and I couldn't even remember who had actually pulled on the table. I looked back at the table. It was two different people. I was like, I don't know.
So Brandon's quite a strong young man here. And here we go. And Mario.
It's always great when your opponent is smiling when you're giving it everything you've got.
And look, Brandon will not quit. He's given it his all. He's really. There we go. And Mario, look, he was nice about it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was awesome.
And Tim came in hot and heavy, well prepared. Sean Speed, tell me more about Sean.
Yeah, Sean is a veteran from the country. Comes down on occasion, but has been arm wrestling for a long time, maybe 5-6 years, I'm guessing.
Yeah, right.
But definitely for a significant period of time.
Yeah.
More of a top roller, very good wrist, and hasn't been pulling consistently for a while now. I think he does some training with Shane, the Saw Doctor, Opie, out in the country.
So okay.
I'm trying to remember the name of
what was going on there?
The country town that they're at. It's an interesting name. It's not Menangatang.
Meningi.
No, I'll remember it anyway. But so he is very good, and I think again with consistent
Sledge
training,
dominant. That was quite powerful.
Oh yeah, Sledge is. When he gets that look in his eye.
Yeah, and young Stephen Carroll, he's a very strong young man and is dedicating a lot of time to his training in arm wrestling at the moment. And it was an easy win there for Sledge, surprisingly easy win there for Sledge. And the Vikings showing Big Ben how it's done, and Peter Andrew back at the table. He's a little bit slow to set up, but in this case, obviously felt comfortable enough there. poor old Brandon has just worn himself out on Mario. Didn't get far, did he? So we got straight to. Well, this is bad. This is bad news.
Steve the Slipper, because
he likes to. He looks a little bit more interested now. He's got the straps on, does Steve, doesn't he?
That's right.
And Shane kind of gets the sense as to what's about to come. There we go. Yeah, he did his best. Shane drove a long way. The Saw Doctor found 400 kilometres to be there. Mario didn't drive that far, but did fly a lot further. So I don't know how that counts. And so Sean looked like he had a little bit of something there for Mario. So. Was Sean a bit of a surprise packet here?
I don't think he's. I mean, as I said, he's very experienced. I think. See there. I mean, Mario just closed down that wrist instantly.
Yes.
The advantage, of course, of
and this would have been interesting.
Yeah. Let me pause it so we can talk about these ones in between.
Yeah.
So yes, Mario just dominant against Sean there. Obviously, the advantage of being out of straps is at any point in time, if you feel that you haven't got what you need, you can slip or attempt to slip, and hopefully the opponent doesn't catch you on your fingers and pin your finger, which did actually happen a couple of times.
Yeah.
So in this one here, we've got Jules versus Sledge.
Jules versus Sledge, and Jules, I think, still may be unranked here in South Australia, but has been training with the club for a little while now, and training specifically a lot with Taryn, and who's the number one ranked arm wrestler in South Australia currently, and has brought something very interesting to the club, and I was interested to see how he would go in this tournament against some other names from interstate and regional.
Who have you seen these matches?
I've not seen all of them. I've seen some. So
we're about to see Jules versus Sledge here. Who is your pick for this? They've gone to straps.
Okay, so good. All right. So I would say that it's really different. It's an interesting one because I think Jules has got a very peculiar technique that may prove very difficult for Sledge to be able to control.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm not sure if straps actually help Sledge in this situation because I feel like Sledge might have the stronger hand, but in straps that mightn't matter as much. So very, very even.
Who's your pick?
Let's go in straps. Let's go Jules.
All right, let's find out. All right, we'll press play button.
And
setting up here.
Mind you, Sledge looks strong there, doesn't he? He looks good. He looks well set up and bang. Straight. There we go. Oh hang on. Oh, hey, what did happen there? Did we give that one to referee?
Well, the referee, which was me. Jules went for his standard flop press.
Yep.
He got caught, and but he transitioned into a top roll fast enough, and it hit the pad. Sledge did pull it back really fast and tried to pull across, but his fingers had bounced off the pad, so it was a pin.
It was a pin.
Yeah. But you got it right.
Yeah, well, good. Made a good call here. This is two young athletes here. So the Hitman and the Slipper, Steve the Slipper. Did you just make that one up? For Steve? Yeah. Okay. So
I've been trying to.
Does Steve know what was this? Because Steve, there's a bit of a background story to the nicknames here for
absolutely.
Steve, it's the first time I've seen him identified as Steve Slipper. Up to then, it's been Svetlin.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if that translates into anything for the rest of the world, or whether it's just such an intimate personal in-joke.
Yeah, well, no, it's not. So Stephen with a PH is how he thought his name was spelled until he went to, I don't know, get a copy of his birth certificate or something at some point, and then found out that it was actually a V. So it was Stephen with a V.
His whole life was a lie.
His whole life he'd been spelling it with a PH. But there's a meme on the internet, and it was a Starbucks coffee cup, and it said that the guy had ordered his name, when ordered a coffee, and they say, "Oh, what's the name for the order?" And he said, "Stephen with a PH," and they'd written Feven.
Stephen with a PH. Fativan. Fativan.
Absolutely.
So he got Fativan.
Fativan. And then because he was Stephen with a PH, I'm like, oh, that meme, the thing.
Finally, I get to apply the meme.
And then I just started putting it on there. But because in every single match in this tournament, he slipped first, I was like, man, I'm going to come up with something for that. And then he was like, what about the squid? And I was like, nah. It was like, I want something like slippery, you know, I was saying to my wife, I'm like, what's something?
It should be slippery sleeve.
Yeah. And it was like, she's like, what about like a bar of soap or something? Slippery Fativan.
Fativan.
Yes. But she's like, oh, what about soap? Like a bar of soap. And I was like, soap? That's not bad. Soap. Yeah. And then I was like, oh,
Soapy
no.
Steve.
It might sound like he doesn't wash or something.
leather.
Yeah,
Steve.
That's imperial leather. That's it. So yes, I'm still working on. It's probably not finalized.
So this is a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Okay,
I was like, this is after like 14 hours of editing and going. I'm just going with Steve Slipper for now. And then he messaged me like, Steve Slipper with a question mark, and I was like, yeah, it's just a joke. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who I am at the moment.
I don't know.
Fativan.
So Fativan Carroll.
Yes.
That's
the one.
Stephen Carroll, Stephen with a PH.
But it's got to be something to do with slipping.
So maybe if any of our viewers have got a better idea as to what we can apply for a nickname to Steve.
Grease Man.
Grease Man.
Yeah.
No, it's hard.
I don't want to make it derogatory.
Too many everything with the slippery connotation, unfortunately, is derogatory or
WD-40.
Yeah.
Steve, the WD-40. I don't know. I'm going all the wrong ways.
I don't know. But we got two young athletes here who are both doing great things. I think both are under the age of 25 years old, and that both are dedicating all of their recreation time to arm wrestling at the moment. And I know Tyler's comes I think he might be one of the most travelled arm wrestlers in the club here. He comes all the way from about 80 or 90 kilometres away for every training, and often will pop up during the week to train with some of the other boys. So he's taken the sport seriously, and in the last couple of months, something's happened. He's unlocked a whole new level of strength.
Leveled up.
He leveled up. Yeah.
He's always had this crazy. That's why I call him the Hitman. This crazy fast explosion hit, and it's it's from anywhere. Like if he hits and you catch it, you're going to get maybe 3 seconds before he's going to do it again. Yeah, that's right. You see him just take that deep breath, and it's like,
it's coming.
And then smash. He's very much an explosive arm wrestler, and tournaments are really suited to that style of arm wrestling. Yeah. And here, obviously, he's going in the heavyweight division against Steve, so you can see already Steve is slipping there, hence the name.
Looking,
wanting
for
straps.
A way out.
Yeah.
Looking for a way out.
So they're going to go to straps.
Here we go.
What a surprise for everybody there. And they're going to get lined up in a strap. And before we have the match, we would like a prediction from... Because I've seen the match.
You've seen the match?
I've seen it.
I understand you may have been there.
I may have been the one holding their hands right
but
there.
But you do struggle to remember what happened.
Oh, there were so many matches. I've seen these oh man, as I said, 14 hours to do this one video.
You also so a little bit of a critique. The Hitman is somebody that I was able to maybe contain up until very, very recently, and but he's burst through me at recent training sessions.
Has he got stronger or did you get weaker?
Both. And Steve's been just inching, and but he's a slower puller, and I know struggles from the ready go, and so if Tyler could launch into something that Steve could not catch, then we might. And I think that now the difference being now as opposed to maybe 6 months ago, I think that Tyler has got the power to take it all the way to the pad if he can get that initial hit off.
Yeah.
So now in straps, that definitely benefit Stephen, and Stephen is maybe a good 15 or 20 kilos heavier, and he's very, very strong. He's got a very big hand as well. So I will go Steve on this one.
Okay.
All right.
Let's find out. He's wound up.
He's wound up, isn't he? He's
rotated into position.
But he looks like he almost trying to start defensive. And
well done.
Well.
Listeners, that was a win for the hitman, Tyler there.
Tyler.
Exactly as Dave didn't say.
Exactly as I boldly predicted a few moments ago before predicting something else.
Right, but you were right, though. The explosive hit that he has is tremendous. It's just...
and he looked like he did that easy.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve is a formidable arm wrestler. I mean, he's a very, very strong guy. And in a slow pull, that might have gone the other way. But in this scenario, like you say, the format, the tournament format, suits somebody who's quick off the ready go.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And that's the difference between, tournament pulling and then super matches where you've got, say, let's say first to 3 or first to 5 with the same opponent. And I always prefer the longer sets, or the first to 5. I know a lot of people go, it's because you've got really good endurance and stuff. It's like, yeah, that's part of it. But I do like the strategy and adjustments that people can make versus what the opponent did in the previous round. And it's like if they got top rolled and then that's what they're going to try to counter the next round, and maybe they're trying to tire the guy out. Maybe they lost that round, but they took a lot of energy out of their opponent.
The winner takes all nature of tournament competition is such that you just can't be thinking about what I'd do next time.
Right.
You've got to have a plan to execute right there and then.
Yeah, you got to do your thing, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't,
Yeah, and I would say that Stephen would have been a little bit surprised with that outcome because
possibly,
because he's a very strong guy, and I think he definitely had a plan there to pull straight backwards but also trying to absorb some of that hit. He might have done that differently with a bit more rise next time, I'd say. But
yeah, it's hard. I mean, Tyler's hit is just, as I said, it's phenomenally powerful and super fast.
Super fast.
Yeah.
Super fast. There's no it's on.
Yeah.
There's no warm up to it. There's no feeling that something's about to come. It's just
It's strange, isn't it, that people have these different attributes, and that's what is fun about the sport.
It is.
You never know what somebody's going to bring.
Yeah.
Like what sort of style that they'll have. And
Tyler's challenge might be to transition those attributes in such a way that's advantageous in a super match.
Yeah.
And how to play the long game a little bit more. So it's a little bit like cricket, where you'll have somebody who's great at T20, but how do they translate into longer forms of the game? And arm wrestling's no different here between tournament, which is real make or break and seconds in it, to maybe the more strategic gameplay of a super match.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, the strategy that goes in, and Steve might win in a super match format. Yeah, but in a tournament format where it's just ready.
I thought the beard would have helped Steve. If nothing
I think
else
that weighted. Yeah, there was 3 other people hiding in it, and they missed the ready go.
Missed the ready go. That's a shame.
All right, let's go on to the next one.
So we've got Peter and our own Tim. Yes. Viking Graham.
So this was a little bit of conjecture. Was
it controversy?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay,
a little bit.
Okay.
Not over the top, but it was just
just enough. Just enough to make this podcast interesting. Or?
Yeah, well, I hope so. Maybe. No, it was difficult. I mean, I was refereeing this match, obviously, and
so that's you.
That's me. The guy that looks like me is me.
That's you.
Me. Yeah,
okay,
all right. Him. That's me. Yeah, so, but...
who's playing Tim?
Probably Tim's beard. That's great. Yeah, so, but setting up Peter...
So, I don't know much about Peter. Is Peter a high-level competitor? I mean, obviously, he's jumped on a plane and flown halfway across the country, so you imagine he's got some high degree of interest in the sport, but has he got a he's got a rap sheet? Has he got a record, or has he got a history? What do we know about Peter coming into the tournament? He was there last year.
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yeah. Very experienced, very good arm wrestler.
Yeah.
He's really strong. He knows what he's doing. He's one of the top guys in the Sydney Spartans Arm Wrestling Club, which is a really good
really
club.
high level club. Yeah.
Absolutely. He's an excellent arm wrestler. I was slightly, I was refereeing, as I said, most of the matches for the day, and with my style of refereeing, like I'm reasonably lenient. Like I just want to get a match happening, and as long as people are reasonably fair, like somebody doesn't have like a majorly obvious advantage, then I'll start the match. But it needs to be started in the right way. It was fine with every competitor throughout the day. It was difficult with Peter, and he got fouled out twice by me, and then he asked for a different referee, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. No issue from my part, and it's like any competitor that's not happy with the referee, you can ask for a different referee. That's part of the rules. That's fine. And so Tim refereed his matches, but it's kind of funny because the next match that he had, Tim was the referee, and he got fouled out even faster by Tim.
So why for viewers who mightn't, I don't think we've got the footage here, but what, because we've just got the matches. I think.
It is at the start of this video. Okay. I can go back, but
yeah. So there's you got the fidgeting. Obviously, the competitors are seeking to give themselves the greatest advantage possible without necessarily being caught, or they don't mind breaking the rules. I was going to say breaking the rules, but they don't mind breaking the rules. They just don't want to be caught. And so was Peter just not happy with how the setup was for him, or so he was looking for a certain type of setup. What type of setup was he seeking?
Something that was very advantageous to him,
right, and nothing else.
Yeah,
right.
The very first pull he got up was against Sean Speed, and I think there was a lot of jostling because your first sort of 20 seconds, 30 seconds, the competitors get the chance to get their own grip, and if they're both happy with that grip, I can just start the match. That's fine. They were sort of they weren't happy with each other. Put it that way. A little bit of not agreeing. I'll put it that way. They weren't getting along. Let's put it that way. And then so by the time I got involved, it was only 20 seconds later or something, and trying to sort of line them up, I think that they both were on edge as to this person's not letting me get what I want, and I'm not going to let them get what they want.
Animosity building and
exactly. Yeah. So that sort of led to difficulty trying to get, obviously they didn't want to do a fair start because it was like, I want to start and I want to beat this guy and I want to, which led to a lot of messing around and just trying to get them to the right position to be able to start. Unfortunately, it did end up with me a lot of warning, like, look, I need you to do this. If you don't do that, I'm going to have to give you a foul. And then it was, okay, well, I'm sorry, man, you've got a foul. And then an early start, and then, okay, that's 2 fouls. 2 fouls is a loss.
Yeah.
And I didn't, it was frustrating for me as the referee because I feel like I want these guys to be able to have a match. The last thing I want to do is foul somebody out. Like, just please just listen and just and I said this, if you guys just get a fair grip and we find out who the best arm wrestler is, you don't need to do all this messing around and cheating in the setup and stuff. It's like, just both take a fair grip and we'll start. Yeah. And then you get to see who's better. Yeah. Like, you don't need to worry about all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But it is the way it is.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guy because it was like, he flew all the way here and I don't know, he probably didn't have a good day, didn't have a good experience with our club, which is disappointing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I would say so. But, as I said, I was trying to do what I could do from a referee's standpoint and trying to just get a match started.
I think there's a real dilemma when you've got, largely in sports, this is across most combat sports, most of the people there are volunteers, even, the judges, the refs, whatever it might be, they're volunteers. And these people aren't always, world class. They've got an interest in the sport. They're doing their absolute best to do what they can to help facilitate it so that the athletes can, essentially test themselves against other athletes. And that's the essence of amateur combative sports.
Absolutely.
And there's an enormous amount of goodwill that goes along with that. Occasionally, somebody will feel like they're going to be a professional on the day. They're all business. They're Mr. Business. It's not millions of dollars on the line. But they want to be Mr. Business. They want to turn up, and they're expecting it to be like the World Championships or something like that. So, and they might know these rules or what they can get away with or whatever, and they want to have arguments about the technical instead of just giving it a go. And that's a real dilemma, And I think that when we are talking about an amateur sport, we're talking about volunteers. We're talking about people putting their own time into it, so that essentially these guys can come along and have some fun.
Yeah.
I feel it's disrespectful to be too hard on those people that are volunteering their time, and to have expectations that I'm going to treat it like this. I've got all the cameras on me, and I can I can do this technical bit, and I can I can ask for this, and I'm getting a second ref, and I'm getting this. It's largely unnecessary and can quickly deteriorate relationships. Like I say, largely unnecessarily. There's no need for it. So like I say, everybody else was able to get on and have a bit of fun, and would have had the same opportunity, no doubt. It's a little bit sad. Like I say, it's a long way to come to not arm wrestle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, he did still progress reasonably far in the tournament, regardless as to the foul out matches that he did have. I think it was on left arm that he got fouled out both times, but then on the right, as you can see, he's in the semi-final here against Tim.
Yeah.
And obviously, again, fantastic arm wrestler.
Yeah.
But as you said, I mean, I'm not like a world-class referee, and I'm doing the best that I know, and I'm still learning. And that's the good thing about doing these sorts of events is, like, yes, it is, we want people from around the country to come and enjoy the event, and we're going to do our best. But it's not, the Zloty Tour of World Championship that's for $10,000 first prize.
Yeah.
And so I'm gaining experience both as a referee and as a competitor to hopefully improve and get better as things go. And these sorts of experiences will help me with my style of refereeing. But in terms of what I could have done in the setups on that day, I could have been super strict, and I could have followed the rules to the letter, and everyone would have been fouled out.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would have sucked.
Yes. And it would have been terrible for those people that had seen the sport for the first time.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it does make me wonder sometimes, I think one of the worst things about arm wrestling as a sport is the disrespect to the officials. And this seems to happen at the highest level of sport. It obviously happened at the tournament. It also happens sometimes just at a club level, where for some reason in arm wrestling, unlike almost any other combat sport or any other professional sport, for some reason the competitors feel like their interpretation of the rules or their interpretation of the reality that's in front of them matters more than that of the ref. And you'll see heated discussions between the ref. You'll see insults fly from athletes to the ref. And I think the AFL sorted that out many years ago. You put a hand on the ref and you're out for life. Yep. And arm wrestling needs to review how it is that the officials are. The sanctity of the officials that needs to be preserved, and there needs to be some thought given to that as we move into perhaps a realm where arm wrestling has the potential to go mainstream. Right. But it won't go mainstream if athletes are disrespectful to officials, and it won't go mainstream if the sport's unwatchable because you've got two athletes who can't agree to put their elbows on the pad and join hands in a sensible way in the middle of the table. So I think athletes need to be fairer and be less strategic or less have a little less gamesmanship in the setup, and I think there needs to be some effort from governing bodies to ensure that the referees' decisions are final and only correspondence entered into could lead to a foul or a lost match right there and then at the referee's jurisdiction. So it's an interesting one, and it's sad because all of the event, I would say that was probably one of the few things that you could say would have marred the day. Would have been the very, very slow and contentious setups with one athlete, and then the argy-bargy back and forth with refs, and it's just largely unnecessary.
Yeah, absolutely. As I said, I mean, everybody else throughout the entire day didn't have any issues in terms of being able to get them into position properly. It was just very difficult with Peter on that day, and I'm not sure if it's the same. I haven't watched much of his stuff before, and I didn't referee last year, so I don't know if that's how he always is, but he's obviously, as I said, you can see when he does get fair starts that he is still winning, and he is very, very good. It was just sort of like, I'm thinking when I was doing it, I'm like, mate, you are a really good arm wrestler. You don't need to be doing all this other stuff to if you just turn your wrist like that, I can start it.
Yeah.
I just need you to just please listen to me and just turn it, and then I can start.
And then we can go. Then we can all go home early.
Right.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And so, we're thankful that our athletes make their way over here. And Peter's come now 2 years in a row. And it's great to host interstate and overseas athletes over here when we get the opportunity. And but in this case, how did Peter go against our very own Tim the Viking Graham?
He is welcome back, by the way, as well.
Oh, we'd love to see you, Peter. Yeah, for sure. Tim, on the other hand.
That's it. So here we go.
So Tim's also quite explosive from the ready go. So if he can get some purchase here, no, that's one of the difficulties you have with the Viking. It's off the start. He's straight off the get go.
He's very experienced.
You can see he's all talked up. You can see the pressure in his hand. There we go. Oh, I think he felt. You think he felt something there that he didn't want to feel?
Yeah, I think
Peter was very strong over the top there.
Yep. Tim the Viking went for a big hit there, and it didn't go too far.
It didn't go anywhere.
He managed to slip out.
Peter seems a little happier this time around in the setup. I think he's feeling a little bit more comfortable.
I think Tim's lining up for a press. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very strong. Very strong.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Big guy too. Like Tim's 6'1", 6'2", and Peter's you can see there was quite tall. Yeah. So this is interesting. I wouldn't know. I mean, Sean Speed. Is that his actual name, or is that a nickname you made up?
His name. Yeah.
Oh well, you don't need a nickname.
I know.
A name
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
That
I was like,
Speed.
you've done the job for me.
Fucking how good's that? Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that guy needs merch. And and Tyler. So this is really interesting because I don't know much about Sean, and my comments on Tyler are now well publicised.
Yes, that's right.
So.
Well, I'll tell you, Sean is mainly a top roller. He's very experienced. Basically, if you took Tim and replicated him, and some very slight variations, but very similar styles.
You can see he's right on top of his own knuckles here. He's obviously looking to press from there, I would say. Is that right? Is that what he's seeking to do?
Possibly. His shoulder is in a close enough position that he might be going for it, but I don't think he ever presses. Yeah,
right. So he's telegraphing there he might be pressing, but you're feeling he's going to pull back to top roll. And Tyler, that he always does. Yeah. Let's wish Tyler all the best. Let's see how it goes.
Oh, hang on, who's your pick?
I'm going to go with Sean just because he looks more confident looking over his knuckles there. Right. My heart goes for Tyler, of course.
All right, here we go.
Bang!
Whoa!
Oh my God! Where's the Aussie arm wrestler? Ready?
Two
bang.
in a row.
My God!
Stop picking against Tyler.
I know. I should back Tyler last time. Tyler is just that is fucking impressive.
That was fast.
That was so. Can we watch that again?
Yeah.
My God!
Watch the speed on this hit.
Look, the reason I kind of say that because if we pause just here, Tyler looked. Far out. That's so quick.
It's quick as.
Tyler looked like he was not, and this may be one of the secrets to his explosive power. Look how relaxed he is. Like Tyler doesn't almost look like he's ready. He's shallow breathing, you can see that Sean's kind of holding on to the breath. He's ready. He's talked, and Tyler looks almost relaxed. Like there's no, you don't see any musculature, nothing in his, there's no vascularity in his forearm or his bicep to give anything away whatsoever, and he doesn't even look like he's got any back pressure here. Like he doesn't look like he's pulling back or preparing himself.
Yeah.
Even in the knuckles, he looks super, super relaxed.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a second and a half later,
that is a good point. Yeah, I didn't really notice that before, but I think.
But even in his face, like there's there's a real determined expression on Sean's face where he's zeroed in and focused and almost steely resolve, and his posture is he's talked, he's ready, and Tyler looks like almost like he's not even ready,
like he's standing at the bar.
Like he's standing at the bar. Like it's non-consequential. Like whatever's about to happen, just like it's non-consequential.
And here we go.
And then
so we get lined up.
He takes
this speed.
I want to see this. You know what he does? Tyler doesn't even breathe. Tyler just like that, just falls. That was really interesting. Tyler has come such a long way.
Absolutely.
Such a long way. In just in really recent times.
See if I can get the moment where they start. I want to see the hand position that. Oh man, it was so fast I couldn't even pause it.
It is so fast you can't catch it.
It was like half a second.
Yeah. Well, I don't even think that Sean gets a chance to talk up there.
No, I don't think he had any resistance on his arm.
There wasn't any resistance because by the time he's hearing ready go, Tyler's already. Look, your expression is like, you didn't even, you barely had time to get your hand out the way.
Yeah.
So in the time it took you to get your hand from here to there, Tyler's already hit the pad.
Yeah, I think I'm finishing saying go.
Is this go?
I think that's me saying ready, go, with the O bit on go. And he's already pinned him.
Yeah, and Sean looks like a spectator. Sean looks like he's watching something he's not involved in. And
well, yeah, it's lightning. I can't even pause it fast enough. I need to put it on like slow motion or something. But he's that quick.
Did Tyler steal Sean's speed?
In that moment, it's
Tyler takes the speed.
That's why he's the hitman.
He's the hitman. He takes the speed.
Yeah,
that was extremely impressive.
Yeah, that style. This is from Tim's experience of setting up very calm, very relaxed. He's probably got a looser grip. Tim said a lot of the Europeans set up that way. Because when you're gripping hard or whatever, the referees are very strict over there. And they'll be like, you can't, no, foul. Like they'll just foul you very quickly. So everyone has a very loose grip, so you can't really tell what they're going to be doing. And it's so weird because you're used to grabbing hold of someone and they're squeezing your hand and you can sort of feel what they're maybe going to try and do. Whereas when somebody's got a really light touch and it's like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And then it's like, bang, gone.
Yeah, it's scary. We had a king at the table a few weeks ago and Tyler was on there and I think I got a pretty quick hit. It happened before I even knew it was.
Yeah.
I didn't have, there was no connection between my mind and my bicep in the time that my hand was pinned.
Absolutely.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
So, very, very impressive performance there by Tyler.
He's deep into the right hand heavyweights here. This is they're coming up on the finals.
So Tyler...
So I think
and Tyler's put on about maybe 10 kilos in the last 12 months as well. So I don't know if Tyler might have been in and around the 90, 95 kilo mark and is now firmly edging around the 105 mark. So Peter and Sledge, look, I mean, that's very impressive. I mean, Sledge is one of our top guys there, and Peter took his hand straight away.
Yeah.
And
here we go with the strap set up.
With strap. So
Sledge and Peter and Dari jostling for position. Just get them in the middle and they can start the match.
Can we do this? Can we? What are we doing here?
That's the middle.
Peter complaining about Peter's all back pressure. He's pulling straight back on his hand already. Oof.
Going for a top roll. Sledge just caught it, but he's lost his wrist.
And it's all over. Sledge.
Sledge was a bit frustrated there. I think he wasn't too happy with that whole situation.
With the whole situation, poor Sledge. Yeah.
And here we've got.
There might have been some talk over recent months that Mario was looking forward to this moment. Anyway, so
well, this was what was so great about what Mario did on the day. He was so gentlemanly to everybody, and in this situation here, this is, I think, the winners bracket final.
Okay.
Him and Jules. So the winner of this goes to the grand final.
Okay.
And he says to Jules, just get whatever grip you want to get.
Whatever you want.
Whatever you want, and we'll just start that.
We'll just start
and then
there.
when you're ready, Matt, just say go and we'll go. And that's what he did.
How at the top of the year game do you have to be?
Absolutely. So they've gone with a hook.
I mean, and to put this into some kind of perspective, you and I both arm wrestled Jules, and there's nothing there. I mean, I've got nothing for him. Not even like it's like arm wrestling your dad, you know. So Jules is not mucking around. He's a strapping young bloke as well. Like again, you know, well over 6 foot. I mean, Mario is what 6'1", 6'2", big guy, 110-ish, maybe more, lean, muscular, big guy. And you see Jules is standing right there at the table, taller. So very very strong young men. Both at the peak of their strength, and here we got Mario just saying, "Yeah, whatever you want, you take it."
Said, you just whatever. What grip do you want? You want to start? Okay, we're starting a hook. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm happy with that. No worries.
Okay.
And then he's got the hook position, and then he just whenever you're ready, Matt, just say go.
Did he keep his hand on the peak?
Well,
Did he bother?
This is what happens. So he's very
poor
smiling.
Jules. Jules is like, no.
So he's tried to press. Mario's just held it.
No.
Easily. There you go. Big high five.
Yeah.
So I think this is the losers bracket semi-final. Winner of this will face Jules.
Okay. Face Jules. Face Mario?
No, face Jules.
Oh.
It's for the losers bracket.
Losers bracket.
And then that'll be, so this is like losers semi-final.
Yeah.
And then you got losers final. And then that goes into the grand final.
Oh, this is how it progresses. I see. That's the double elimination.
That's right, yeah. I do try to steer clear of saying winners and losers. For this, I was like the winners bracket, and then I was like, I can't call
the
it
other
losers
bracket.
The elimination bracket.
Oh, I like it. Okay, we're going to do something for next year.
And I forgot to say it now, and I've said losers about 5 times.
the lemon losers
the
bracket.
elimination. I'll go back and dub my own voice. So this is the semi-final from the elimination bracket, and the loser of this. Yeah, that's correct. The loser of this will be eliminated. The winner of this will go on and face Jules, and the winner of that will go on to face Mario in the final.
Oh, okay. Here we go. So it's very, very tense. So this is like quarterfinals.
Yeah, pretty much.
Quarterfinals. So
yeah, it's coming down to the nitty
gritty. Okay, so do you remember what happened in this one?
I do.
Okay. No, I'm not going to go with Tyler. I want to though.
Okay. You picked against him every time. And he keeps winning.
He keeps winning. That's why I'm doing it this time. Yeah.
You're staying with it.
Yeah. Right. Here we go. Okay.
There was an elbow foul from Tyler and a slip.
Okay.
So it's a restart in the strap.
All right. Well, Peter
Tyler has one elbow.
Okay. Well, it's strange that Tyler wasn't able to get off the go as quickly on that occasion.
Peter's strong.
He's
got a very strong wrist. So
strong wrist. And likes himself in the strap.
I think he's good enough
in anything.
Both ways.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So we just get lined up, and
he's very intense, Peter. Very intense.
Wants exactly the thing that he wants. You could see him jostling for position there. So get them in the middle.
Okay. And then he braces straight away with back pressure in the grip, and now he's at the same time. He's a wriggler, isn't he?
You can see how hard it was for me refereeing this one, because he's doing several movements there which you can't start a match with when somebody's pressuring up that way, or has a cup in their wrist, or is covering the other person's thumb knuckle, and it was a combination of
it was all of those things at once.
Yeah. But here we go. We finally get a start here. and he's just too dominant for Tyler's wrist there. Tyler knew he couldn't hit.
Yeah.
Tried the sort of King's move, I think. Almost armbarred himself.
Yeah.
So we moved on. This is the elimination bracket final, and the winner of this will go to the grand final.
So I got a feeling that Peter would get Jules' hand in this situation, and but I think that Jules has got some interesting side pressure down low. So I want to go with Jules on this one.
Okay.
All right,
let's find out.
15 minutes of setup.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Maybe Peter just likes the airtime. Shame he didn't have a sponsor for his shirt. Here we go. Oh, hang on. Was that to slip in a losing position?
It was a flop press attempt from Jules, and his hand slipped in the winning position. So it's a strap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Going to the strap.
Okay. But Jules didn't slip, did he? Or Jules did slip?
Oh, they both.
Or Jules slipped, being in the dominant position, but still because his hand was back. Okay, that's a really interesting observation.
Well, it was pretty much just like a classic slip position.
Both athletes wanted to slip, essentially.
I don't think that Jules wanted to, but at that point, when his fingers slid down and his wrist was flopped, and Peter pulled back, I mean, there was no choice. It's just going. So
yeah, right.
But they've got the strap here, and they're going to restart. Any change in pick with the strap?
I will say, look, I think that Peter's going to take this one out. I feel like he's got that that top roll pressure, and then straps. He'll be able to maintain that and keep hold of Jules.
You just picked Jules a second ago.
I did, but that was outside of strap.
Okay, it's straps.
And I don't think his side pressures is effective in this situation. That Peter's now seeing Peter's hand through this elimination process.
Yeah,
and has
changed your mind.
Changed my mind about so the style of arm wrestler that Peter is. So let's
have a look.
see. Here we go. Oh yeah, here we go. Hang on, here we go. Hey, get out of here! Well done, Jules. Very good. But Peter's not happy. Peter saw something. He's pointing to the guy. He's pointing to you at home. It may have something to do with you. Did you move? I didn't move. Did you move? I don't know. Matt's looking at the strap now. Is it the strap? What's he complaining about?
I can tell you what
is
it was.
The pad? What's his concern there?
So in that, Jules went for the flop press, which Peter caught and dragged across in a top roll.
Yes.
About halfway through that drag across, Jules managed to sort of readjust, and he got right on top of his hand and pressed straight down and got the win with a flop press pin. But Peter's elbow came off the pad at the end there.
So a foul.
Well, it would be a foul, but it's a running foul.
A running foul, and Peter's like, no.
Peter said, my elbow came off. And in a traditional style match with normal fouls, then it potentially could be a restart.
Yes.
But in this situation with running fouls means that if you are the person that fouled, you need to win, get a pin for the match to restart.
Gotcha. And and I'm guessing the rules are kind of gazetted or announced prior to the competition.
Made up as we go.
and made up as you go. On top of that, you have the rights to adjust rules accordingly.
I did a bit of a spiel beforehand, the tournament when we were about to start, and explained that rule specifically, that we are doing running fouls.
And Peter wasn't in Sydney when that announcement was made.
As soon as...
But it seems like Peter's got a very high awareness of the rules and the technicalities around it.
Yeah.
So, he's obviously playing that game.
Yes.
Or maybe it's that Peter's perhaps realised much of his genetic potential and is now looking for the nth degrees in his own performance, which might just lay in that knowledge of that deeper knowledge of the rules and how to, we talk about arm wrestling being one of those sports of 1%ers and how so much is won and lost in the setup. And perhaps that's where Peter's kind of thinking, well, the winning and losing with anybody who's kind of around my strength and around my size and around my ability is going to come down to how much I can perhaps wear them out and maybe how deep my technical knowledge of the rules is.
Yeah.
And if the rules were just slightly different or had been announced differently prior to, then Peter would have been very correct and not only that, but highly cognizant of it. Like as soon as he's been pinned, he's calling it. So it's very, very top of mind.
Yeah.
So obviously a very deep knowledge of the rules.
That's right. Yeah, and it's probably a different rule set that they might run with in their club or in different tournaments that and that is.
Whereas here in Adelaide, there were no rules.
Well, I do like running fouls a lot better, and that's why we ran with those, and we do that same for the super matches. It's just from a spectator's point of view, and for the actual arm wrestlers as well. If you're in the middle of a match and you're winning the match, and somebody lifts their elbow, it shouldn't be a restart. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It should the match. Okay, you've got a foul, but keep going.
Yeah.
So if you fouled, well, yeah, you've got a foul. But if you want to restart, you've got to win to get
just
that.
Be clear in this situation. So Peter did foul. So at the end of the day, he did foul, and because the foul was running, Jules was able to continue and ultimately got the win. If it wasn't running foul, then it would have been back to a start. So he could have deliberately fouled, like a professional foul in, say, soccer, where they might fall over to make it look like they've, been tripped over in the penalty box. That it's a very similar situation.
It can be. It just depends. Like, I haven't watched it back in slow motion to see whether or not his elbow came off before the pin or at the same time as the pin. But there is a potential that he could have got a restart from that in a normal situation. Yep. But I think most places would have still called that a pin regardless.
Okay. Yeah. So, Jules did well.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's won this. He's going to the final against Mr. Tambarkas.
Oh, okay. So, and congratulations, Jules. Did Taran not compete? Or
he did. He did the under 95 class and then the overall. This is the heavyweights.
Heavyweights.
So he didn't go into the heavyweights.
Okay.
But he did have some matches with Mario in the overall.
Huh.
So here we go. So we've got the final of the heavyweight class on the right arm.
Does it help, Jules, that his shirt is pulled up?
It does.
Because I would think that must add 5 or so percent.
And there you go.
So in this case, Jules attempted
something
back pressure. Now I can't say I've seen Jules do this. So can you step? So Jules has tried to pull back, in an attempt to.
He's probably trying to get pronation or get into Mario's fingers. So there,
yes.
But as you can see, his body has gone back, and his arm is sort of remained flat. Mario's in complete control of his hand with a clamp of his fingers there.
You can. It's all in the expression of the athletes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mario's just gazing off into the middle distance,
so
almost trying to read the logo that's on his shirt.
So Jules,
what does that say? What does that say on Jules' shirt? And Jules is thinking, "Oh, this.
Well, no, I've lost the hand.
I don't know what else.
Yeah.
There's nothing else."
His idea is correct in terms of trying to pull back to get Mario away from his arm. Get Mario's arm away from his body. But Mario's too strong, and it ended up that Jules's arms went away from his body.
Yeah,
and that's all she wrote. So as soon as that happened,
and Mario's completely controlling there. His fingers are all the way around, and there was no getting away there.
No,
and the big bicep of Mario was out one more time.
Go back. Yeah,
here we go.
See if I can get a shot of that.
It just leaned. It was almost too easy, wasn't it? That was incredible. And the humility of the arm wrestlers afterwards, where everybody's keen to compete, but people are quick to acknowledge the winner and the superior man or woman on the day. And there's our big winner, big happy Mario Tambarkas. Hey,
absolutely.
It was a joy to have you on the day, and absolutely fantastic that you travelled all this way to be part of the Apex Sport Fest. So right and left arm heavyweight champion.
And so we're winning the class. He goes into the overalls. The overalls where
are you required to wear overalls?
Yes.
Right. So that's in denim. That's played in denim.
Overalls, jumpsuit,
You're good.
Beards do help.
Okay,
Yeah.
so good.
And rolling the sleeves up.
Excellent.
So the winners of each class got to go into the overall to compete for the big money.
All right. Okay. So, and this was all sponsored by Real.
It was real estate agents.
Real estate agents.
Over 100 years of real estate experience between them.
5,000 years of collective experience. Real. So, Mario, congratulations, Mario.
Yeah, he did
absolutely wonderful, and
phenomenal job. So that was his win there. The overalls is still being edited because it's
the overalls. I was in.
Like, let's see the overalls. We'll see you next week.
There's the Jack Santa. Yeah, is back at it.
We've got a different video going. This is not my.
Is this a little game that you're playing in your own time?
This is the UFC 4. There's a guy I watch on YouTube who this is probably his channel here. He's really good at the game and he'll commentate as he's playing and just destroys everybody.
Right, okay.
But he does it in a nice way.
Excellent.
But he's like, I'm going to do it this way. He explains how he's going to win and then he wins. He's obviously spent a lot of time playing this game.
And he's been rewarded with 350,000 subs. Look at those two blokes, from the SHI.
Oh, look at them. I know those guys.
Hey, they're pretty good looking.
Yeah, so we've got the under 95s class. I mean, we could just play through each one of these if you like. But you can see there's
Jack Santa,
there's
UAC,
a very dominant player in this division, the same as Mario was in the heavyweight division. There's a certain person,
a certain Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah,
and we need to be mindful of. So this is. Well, that was a fantastic event. That's at the Adelaide Oval there with Tim the Viking Graham once more on screen. Double biceps out. Unfortunately, that man, Laz, was not able to make it. So Laz has injured his back, I believe, and is out of action for a little while. Recovering. We hope he's well. And so we've got winners bracket round here. So we've got the Conqueror against the Chameleon. And the Conqueror, didn't he do well? I think this is his first competition out, and he's been training with the club for some time now, and I think he did well against the Chameleon. Yeah. So here we go. He's got his hands. The Chameleon's trying all sorts, and it just wasn't enough. All the pre-workout in the world didn't help the Chameleon on that occasion.
No, that's right.
The Dark Horse, it's a new nickname, probably entirely necessary given the geopolitical situation in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was even Russian, but he just got called Russian. He can't do that.
No.
He was the Russian, but he's no longer the Russian.
I did start calling him the Dark Horse probably
prior to the
maybe a year ago.
Ukraine conflict. Okay, so he's a bit of a dark horse. Very, very strong. And the Beast from the East. There we go. So
this is the under 95s class. You've got Madison Mad Dog Zalenga.
Mad Dog.
And he's going against the winner of the beginners left and right, Hamza the Hammer Hodgie.
Oh, so the Hammer, is that the one now? We're going with the Hammer? I like it.
Yeah.
So Hamza's 16 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he's about 6'9" or something. No, he's a young lad. As the name may suggest, he's Bosnian by parentage and by
trade.
Bosnian by trade, and we know that means that your bones are made of concrete and you've got giant genetics. So, but very impressive lovely, quiet spoken young man, very modest, very humble, and very strong.
Absolutely.
So,
who's your pick in this one?
So I would go to Hammer. Okay. I'll go to Hamza on this one.
Okay.
And
let's find out.
Let's find out. Here we go. Madison's once he's hooked in, that's his spot, isn't it? That's his spot. Once he's kind of there, you don't see a lot of pronation, but he's got really good side pressures.
Yeah.
Once he's there, and
once
I
he's
think
tight,
this is
if he stays tight, he's strong.
And this is where that's a good spot. That's a good spot for Madison right there. And from there, if he can tire young Hamza out there, because he's right on an outstretched bicep here. Yep. That's well fought.
I think you're 0-5 at the moment of your picks.
This is my intimate knowledge, having trained with all of these.
I seriously think you've got them all wrong. You got to get this one right.
Yeah, I kind of know which way it could go, and then I picked the wrong one. And then so we go. Can I go with the Conqueror just to keep my winning streak going?
This was kind of funny because obviously Taryn is number one in the state. Very geared up for this competition, very ready to go, fired up, had been training specifically for this moment. Carl the Conqueror is very new to arm wrestling and reasonably inexperienced, was in the beginners class. You did see him get a win over Ryan just before. He's down in the rankings, let's put it that way. And you would think, okay, the number one versus your
number one V15, 16, 17, 20, somewhere in that range.
Maybe he'll be
high teens.
Maybe he'll be gentle like Mario was, and politely get a pin. But that doesn't seem to be the case. As you will see here.
I've got a feeling this is a flash pin.
Let's have a look. Boom. I want to rewind it because it didn't. You think you're lining up against
Taryn.
Bang.
Yeah. I would say Taryn was holding back there because he didn't completely flatten the cushion.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
His arm didn't go through it.
Yeah.
I think this one is reasonably easy to pick. Hammer obviously winning the beginners class there and having
a bit of purchase there.
And here we go with
and Taryn. Taryn doesn't he look like a gorilla at the moment? He's a specimen.
Absolutely.
And not the tallest athlete either. Complains that he's got a small hand and it's not the biggest in the world, but my goodness, he trains hard and he's entirely focused on the sport. Both of these athletes will be around the same type of age, and probably the difference here is about 10 kilos maybe in weight. And you can see where young Taryn's carrying all of that weight right across that T section.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And again, you'll see what happens here. So we get another flashback. So we've got Carl, who did a fantastic job on his very first tournament, and he entered a few different classes.
Great to see people giving it a go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Poor Madison. I feel a bit bad for him there.
Oh, it's hard. I mean, you're going to get lined up against somebody who's very experienced, very dominant in Tim.
Yeah. This will be a little bit interesting.
Yeah. Well, what about this one?
I'll still go with Hams, but I feel like it'll be an interesting one because if Hamza gets caught out again, also understanding how strong Adrian can be. There's fresh. He's exceptionally strong, and so I would think that this competition format would suit him. How quickly he is off the line, I'm not sure, but I think in a slow pull early on, he's very, 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 very strong and a bit hard to handle. But here, I think Hamza's looks really relaxed over his hands. He's obviously had a few competition starts for the day already, so maybe the adrenaline's not there in the same way. He's a little bit more collected here, so I like Hamza.
Okay. Have a look at the focus on the referee's face there. He's obviously knows what he's doing, very, very concentrated. Either that or he doesn't have a clue.
Well, no, trying to work out what those tattoos on the fingers mean.
Yes, are these hands? Are these hands or feet? All right, so let's get this. Oh, hang on. Who's your pick here?
Hamza.
Hamza, okay. Got to slip. We got to slip. Okay. Strap. And
there we go. Straight into a hook.
Oh, he's caught the hit. He's brought it back. He's nice
Here we
and
go.
close.
There we go.
You were right. You got one.
Lucky me.
I had actually forgotten that. I thought that the dark horse won that one. Yeah.
So Madison, this will be fairly even. Although I'll give this one to Madison, I reckon. But Madison. Yeah, there we go.
There you go. You're right again. You're on a roll.
Yeah.
I'm making up you're on a roll.
Well, here, Taryn, even this is on left. Taryn would say that his left is useless, but I would say that Taryn's probably got this as well in a flash pin.
Okay, let's have a look.
Doesn't that show how much Taryn's progressed in the last 12 months?
Absolutely.
That would have been a very, very tight match 12 or 18 months ago, or possibly going to the Viking. But Taryn there, dominant, no answers from the veteran on that occasion.
That's right. You see what Madison did there? He slipped out. There's a lot of this that happened on the day, and I didn't call a lot of these.
Okay, so this is slips in a losing position.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you're getting slips in losing positions, and that should be a foul.
It should be a loss.
Should be a loss.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've restarted.
A
weak and ineffectual.
I rewound it so you can see this again. So
we've got.
If you go under the arm like that, like he did, if you go underneath the opponent's arm, that way underneath. You know, if it's on a losing side or defending side of your side of the table, like you're losing and you go underneath, it should be a loss.
Right.
I didn't call a lot of those because
bad ref.
There's that, and there's like
I mean, it's a factor, but it's not everything. Well, what was your rationale? Talk us through your thinking. As it's happening, are you cognizant that, maybe I should be calling that? Or are you kind of thinking, I'm going to let that go because...
Yeah, I let it go in a lot of these because they were close enough to the middle of the table. You could say, okay, maybe it was the middle of the table. It was like, it most likely wasn't, and that one probably wasn't either. But
hard to tell from one side of the table, by the way.
Right, that's right. But I want to see a match.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, if you've slipped, well, you can't slip in a strap. So let's get you strapped.
All right.
And it's like, it might have been a way out or whatever.
But the strap does definitely advantage some athletes. We were talking about Brandon before, and Brandon's, I think, 10, 20% stronger in a strap. And Stephen.
Yep.
Similar, very, very strong in a strap. Much stronger in a strap than outside. Hence the nickname.
That's right.
The slipper. So, Madison similarly, I think likes a strap. So.
Sorry, I'm still trying to think of a funny nickname for Steve, and I was going to go.
What'd you come up with just then?
When you said the slipper, I was like Goldilocks. No, what was it? Cinderella's slippers.
Slippers.
Yeah, the diamond slippers or the glass slippers.
Glass slippers. Yeah, the glass slipper. We'll call them the glass slipper.
Yeah,
because the grip never fits.
It turns into a pumpkin at midnight. What did the glass slippers turn into?
They turned into Ugg boots. I don't know.
Ugg boots. Thongs.
Yeah, they got comfy.
It's the thongs of the classic plug.
But there was only one glass slipper.
There was only one. But he didn't. The prince, he used the glass slipper and went round the. Yeah, to beat his servants with, to go around the town.
That's a bludgeoning tool.
And try on all these different women's feet.
Yes.
Or women came to
the castle. There was two. There was two.
She went home with one.
She went home with one.
He found the other one.
Just found it.
And then knew that he didn't know who this girl was. But this was her shoe.
Yeah.
Her slipper. And then he said, all the women come to the castle and try on, and whoever is the owner of this shoe, the shoe will fit, will be my
There can only be so many size 7s.
That's right.
Yeah,
and you would think there would have been somebody that would have had that size.
Did she have like a 6th toe or something?
Why
like
a 6 3/4?
Was she a size 2? Was there something weird about her feet? Like, did she have a giant corn on one side? Well, I don't know. I don't know why in this village of women that, surely if it was like a size 14, you go, well, we're looking for a tall chick. Right,
pretty obvious.
Yeah. We know which one we're looking for.
Right.
Oh, there's the Amazonian. Yep, it was probably a get her over here.
Yep.
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, but interesting, very interesting story. And the slipper. The glass slipper himself.
He's not featured in this match.
He's no longer in the video.
The most interesting about him is he's not in this match. This is
we need a nickname for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got to work on
Write into us if you've got a nickname for Steve the Slipper.
Steve the Slipper.
Something to do with, I don't know.
Vetland.
Come up with something better than what we've got with. All right. So
Fativan.
Fativan.
Yeah.
All right.
Fativan the slipper.
So we've got Hamza and Madison, Mad Dog, and Madison.
Madison grabbed. So
Yeah.
again, he gets in that once he's in that posture. Very, very strong. Very strong.
If he stays close to his body, if he keeps his hand close to his body, he's super
He's
strong.
all right. As soon as it moves away, and
Yep.
and I guess we saw that in the first in the slip, and then we saw the comeback where he was able to keep it all together and keep his integrity.
That's right.
And so he made it all the way to the elimination semi-finals to give the Vikings some grief.
That's right.
And slips on that occasion.
Yep. So we're going to the
Straight to slip, and very amusing to the Viking, that one, that Madison would want to go to, knowing that was the likely result of Madison going to strap. But well done, Madison, to get that far. Madison's one of the fast improvers in the club, and has definitely been working at it over recent months, and I think his performance in this competition is a testament to his hard work.
His last will and testament to
I think what I was trying to say was congratulations on a great effort.
Before we see the final.
Okay, so this is the final.
Right, but I wanted to highlight
Okay.
that everyone on the day, I think everybody got one win.
One win.
I think everybody did.
Everyone got a win.
A win. Yeah.
Apart from Tim.
Well, no, Tim beat a couple of people.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed those.
He's in the grand final. How did he get to the grand final?
So who else didn't get a win?
No, I think maybe David Hux might have, and maybe Shane Opie, the Saw Doctor.
Yes.
I think they both lost their matches 2 in a row.
Okay.
But I think out of everyone in the tournament, out of 50 people, I think at least everyone got a win in the tournament, which is awesome. I mean, my first tournament, I went 0-4, and it was like 4 flash pins, and then I left and was like, it was a very sad drive home.
But everybody walked away with something to be happy with, apart from the 2 people that came the furthest.
That's right.
He had a very
The further you come, the less likely you've got to win.
Very long drive home.
Yes, it's very sad. No, I think they had a great time actually, because but that's one thing. Once the pressure's off,
everybody's after pulling and having a good time. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think there's a lot of people that come to have a go in the competition, but really come for the after pull.
Yeah.
And because also, that's your chance to test some stuff out and see where you're going.
Exactly.
So this is the grand final of
under 95s left.
Under 95. So how's Tim staying under 95 kilos?
Just.
Oh my goodness.
He actually weighed in over. And then he took his pants off.
Then he did take his pants off?
Well, he took something off.
Okay. So the pants came off. I mean, I do notice the beard's a lot longer this year than last year. That could be easily 2 or 3 kilos in beard.
Beard
weight.
He did. So with the rules of this
the rules that you made up.
Yes. Well,
you can weigh in at whatever you like.
Yeah, sure. Do whatever you like. I don't know.
We are definitely against dieting. We are definitely.
Well, I set up this because I hate weight cutting.
Yes, weight cut. Yes.
Yeah, and so the weigh-ins was at time of registration 1 hour before the tournament started. So if you're going to cut weight, you're going to feel terrible during the tournament, and it's your own fault.
Yes.
Don't cut weight. But Tim
cut weight.
No. So he during the week he said that he'd weighed himself. I don't know, the tournament was on a Saturday. He weighed himself on a Tuesday, and he was like 93. And he's like, I got nothing to worry about. Where's the pizza? Where's the ice cream? And then on Saturday morning, when he had to weigh in, it was like, oh, you're going to be under 95. I think he was 96.2. He was like, oh man,
3 kilos.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I'm gonna get my pants off.
Yeah, and then I don't know what he took off. I think he just took all the stuff out of his pockets out.
It was 7 kilograms.
The gold bar, the glass slipper.
The glass slipper.
And his shoes. I think that was pretty much. And then he was sitting at I think it was 94.9 or something. It was enough.
Just.
Yeah.
Do you know what Taryn was weighing in at, by any chance?
I'm guessing. I think he went up to like 89 or something.
Okay, so a bit heavy for Taryn as well.
Yeah, because he was in the under. Did he under 75s? No, he normally competes at under 80s.
80s, yeah.
And this year he really bulked up, and he's sitting at 89.
I think this was a nice trial run for Taryn in terms of bulking up and preparing for a competition.
You know what? There's actually a big competition next weekend. The Victoria is having their titles.
Oh, excellent!
Some really good
matchups there.
Yeah, Brett Coots and Andy Handsome.
Yeah.
I'm calling him that now because I can't pronounce his last name. I've tried. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. I've done enough. Me and Tim, when we were doing our episode, he's changed. He was ending Lee. He's changed his surname to a surname I'm not pronouncing.
It's longer than Lee, I'm guessing.
It's the surname, whatever it is now.
Right.
I know what it is. I'm not trying to say it.
Right. So is this like when Andrew G changed his name and because
to Farouk Muhammad something?
It was something completely different. Like when he was on Channel V, he had fucking Andy G, and then it was something.
I don't know what it is now.
Osher
Grinspoon.
I don't know. Where did he get Andy G? I don't know. But anyway, he's back. So
right. Yes. So Andy
G,
formerly Lee.
Andy formerly.
Now, so because we couldn't pronounce his name, and like we're in the little group chat thing on Facebook, and he's like, just call me Andy Handsome.
Andy Handsome.
So I'm gonna call him
Andy Handsome. Yeah. You got it now. So Taryn, not just preparing for this one, but prepping for the Victorian titles.
I don't know if he's going over. He should. If he's in this good of a condition, you could see here is the grand final.
He looked great. And Tim's been a high level competitor, national competitor for best part of the last decade. Very technical.
I should have called that a loss, but that's okay. We'll go into a strap.
Lucky. Okay, so here Taryn's just okay.
Yeah, so Taryn has just what holding. He needs to have.
Taryn's just waiting.
Yeah, well, he's talking to Tim there.
Oh my goodness, Taryn. Well, Taryn has.
So that was the left arm.
Taryn has done some extraordinary work over the last 12 months.
I would have liked to have seen him compete in the heavyweight as well, and but he was targeting the overall. Obviously, if you've won one of the classes, you go the overall
straight
regardless.
Through. Yeah. Hit his eyes on the prize at the top and knew he was probably going to meet the same people and no point getting worn out.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially against some of these bigger competitors. Not that I think that Taryn would have had any problems with anyone right up until the end.
No, that's a good point. Well, I mean, if he was in the heavyweights, his probably biggest competition would have been Jules, Peter Andari. Possibly. Oh, no.
I don't see Taryn being troubled by any of those guys.
Yeah, I would have liked to see. Actually, I think he did go against them in the overalls. So,
okay. So we get to see what that looks like.
Yeah, when I edited it together.
Yep. Next episode on the Daily Combat Podcast. Here we go. This is the dark horse. He leaned into it. Look at him go. Oh, Carl T. So slow. So slow. So close.
So slow.
So slow. Carl. What are you doing, Carl? So
Carl is very good for. I think there's some secrets going on with Carl.
Oh, really? Yeah.
So he came all the way from Port Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Port Lincoln, Port something.
Yeah.
Long way away.
Yeah.
Some port somewhere.
Port
Douglas. Port Macquarie. Somewhere. A long way away.
Yes.
He's only been to training one time.
Yeah.
Which he said was his first time arm wrestling. And it felt sort of like that.
Okay.
A little bit of technique, a little bit, but maybe he's watched some videos and stuff.
Yeah.
His performance on this tournament day was phenomenal for somebody who's been one time.
Wow.
Like, I think, and Carl, if you're watching this, and you
Carl.
will, because I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
You've done something for quite a while, I think.
Yeah.
Your experience and transitions and movements were not of a beginner. They were of an experience.
Are you calling Carl out?
I'm saying Carl is more experienced than just a beginner.
Carl's got somebody's secret in his pocket there. He's whispering into his...
He's very good
Whispering into
for
his
one
ear.
training session.
He's too good for one training
Too
session.
good, yeah.
So Carl's holding something back, so
Yeah.
wait out for
But
next
it was
Apex.
he did a fantastic performance in this tournament.
So special mentions, Carl.
He really did well.
We've got a few special mentions. I mean, Hamza's appeared in everything here. He's given everything a go.
Absolutely.
But Hamza's very, very... I reckon that Hamza even gave the Vikings some trouble here.
Yes.
Yes, I was standing beside the table for this one from memory. And, the Viking had to work a lot harder than he expected to.
Yeah.
And Hamza, I think, was pleasantly surprised that he was able to catch that initial surge as well.
Yeah.
Hamza's really the future. Give that kid another 24 months and another 15 kilos, and I think he'll be very, very close to unstoppable for too many people.
Yeah, he's got the potential for sure. He listens really well. Follows.
And great to see his mum there.
Yeah.
And I think his mum and dad and his sisters and cousins.
Yeah, it was so cool.
They came out and geez, he put on a show for them as well.
Absolutely.
So
winning two trophies and then doing so well in the other divisions as well.
Daily Combat Podcast own Iron Man, Roman Rockwell.
Is he sponsored by the Daily Combat?
He's sponsored by Real. Yeah.
Is that why Real's in the background of everything?
Yes, everybody is sponsored by Real. Except for Taryn, he's sponsored by Green Tank Tops.
The army. He's their secret weapon.
So here's Taryn playing with Tim.
Yeah.
It seems. Yeah, that was Taryn just holding almost like a practice pool.
Yep.
Which is disturbing. And redlining is the Iron Man Roman Rockwell.
This was probably match of the day. I'll just rewind.
Okay, well, match of the day. Match of the day highlights, hey?
Yeah.
So set this one up for us if you want.
So we've got Roman Iron Man Rockwell, who's on. Well, if you're in the camera, the guy with the Real Estate Agents Group, over 100 years
Emblazoned.
Experience,
7,000
logo on his shirt. 7,000. He's experienced. He's probably 2 and a bit years into the sport. He did very well at the tournament last year.
Yep.
Works as a concreter by trade and lifts wheelbarrows most of the day, and he's always got this incredibly strong rising power here. He's going up against Hamza, who's 16, first tournament. They both have actually similar styles, although the rising power that Roman has is, I don't think anyone else in the club has that level.
No.
Where he isn't as strong. He gets that initial rise, but that finishing third is where he gets out
Stuck.
of momentum. And that's sort of what happens here. So he gets that position.
But straight away, Hamza almost put himself on his bicep.
Yep.
He let Roman go to get into that 3/4 position, as you said, and just held the weight. Although he does look like he wants to bite Roman's neck, doesn't he? Like he looks like it's
always great when
in
you
this
when
particular
you pause.
freeze. Yeah,
Some facial expression.
you may win, but I will take you.
I'll see you tonight, my dear. Leave your windows open.
Roman's caught himself in this position, and he's not moving the elbow forward in order to gain anything else.
Yeah, there's a very specific thing that Hamza does which wins him the match here, and it is the cup in his wrist.
Yes.
He is very, very deeply cupped up, and that prevents Roman from getting through. Roman needs to pronate to finish there. And Hamza is forcing him into a hook position. Roman is not a strong hooker, so he's being forced into that from a defensive position. If Hamza's wrist was any flatter than what he's got it there, he would have been pinned. But he kept a really deep cup, and it prevented Roman or Iron Man from being able to pronate all the way through to the pin, and you see him fighting for that cup and holding that cup.
And Roman's redlining, and every time he does, you can see Hamza breathing through it and then just turns the hand over. I mean, powerful performance there from him. Not only that, Hamza had been competing all day.
Yeah.
And again...
He tried to do the same with Tim, but Tim
is a little bit...
very experienced.
Tim was onto that one after... cutting it a little bit too close in the last round, and so this is the final. The Viking now 117 kilos.
Yep.
My God!
He was like,
oh my God!
Lightning fast.
Oh my God, Taryn!
This is the grand final.
This is the grand, and oh my
Bang.
God, that was that is frightening. That is disturbing.
We're going to try and time it.
Here we go. And straight away, so he's straight away got everything he wants.
Yep.
Poor old Viking just looking off in the middle distance there. What happened to me?
Yeah.
I used to be at the top. Now I just do.
I used to teach.
Now I just do top tens with Matt on the podcast. And so many people in the club have learnt so much from Tim over the years, and obviously Taryn now has turned his entire attention and energies to arm wrestling, is treating it as though it is his vocation, and has his own YouTube channel, Dankius Arm Wrestling, that's building in subs at the moment, and training almost all day, every day. And you can see that.
That's you, isn't it?
That's Jack Santa. He's back.
Jack Santa.
Jack Santa.
Looks like you. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
If you had that hat, you need that sort of hat.
I need that. Yeah. I don't know what type of hat that is.
I'm going to get you one. And you have to stand in that pose. I'll be like, see, I told you. That's where we got the idea from.
I've got some work to do on the moustache.
Not on the arms though. Yeah, they're pretty much about the same size.
So, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the under 95 kilo class, and then the boys. Well, they found their way into the overalls, and I can't wait to see the overalls, to see how the boys fared there. But needless to say, Mario Tambakis walked away the winner of the day, the overall champion, and can't wait to see the matchup between him and Taryn as well. But I guess we'll leave that one until next week. And if people want to check out those videos, they can go to the Hollywood Matt Connelly YouTube channel and check it all out for. And so this is your feed.
So yes, on Facebook, Hollywood Matt Connelly, and YouTube as well, and Instagram, and
you're on Instagram,
at
Hollywood
at Matt Connelly 13. Yeah, that's the one. You got it.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, hey. So we're trying to put it out on all platforms and also on TikTok. And the weirdest thing, you're a party of this.
Yeah, do you want to bring it up?
Well,
bring it up.
I can actually.
So viewers of the Daily Combat podcast viewers and listeners of the Daily Combat podcast may not be following you on TikTok yet, but maybe they should be. And if they wanted to, what's your handle on TikTok?
I don't know. I'm going to find out.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm hoping that when I open it, that there's not like just a like
13-year-old girls.
You know, like it's all like my feed. Let's find out.
You page.
Oh, good. It was that. Good. Let's find my page.
You just never know what's going to pop up.
Yeah. That's
so this is the Hollywood Matt Connelly TikTok. It is. It's Hollywood Matt Connelly.
It is.
Oh, that's
Hollywood
awesome.
Matt Connelly.
Hollywood Matt Connelly, and this is your TikTok feed, and
that's right.
You got some nice views there. You got 8,000 and 400 and 1,400 and 2,500 and 9,000 and 1.3 million views.
That's right.
My God. So this has just taken off in the last couple of weeks, or you've blown up on TikTok.
Yeah,
your arm wrestling's answer to Charlie.
It has.
Yes,
It's fantastic. Like I love the fact that it's getting attention to arm wrestling. This video, I'm going to play it because I think it's only 30 seconds.
Let's just see what's the most viral arm wrestling video on TikTok right now.
I can't make it.
And this is
so this is the Prodigy doing some. It's actually a training technique. I was talking to somebody. I was talking to Tyler who was leaving.
Yes.
And the Prodigy Riley is still working on positioning, and he's not really going 100%, but it looks like he is. And from the outsider's perspective, it looks like I'm holding him with the ease of like a child. But in reality,
like he may be the strongest man in the world.
Yeah, that's right. And then it's so easy for me that I'm able to carry on a conversation with somebody else at the same time. The reality is he's not trying that hard. But it got, I couldn't believe how much.
And look at the comments flowing through as well.
Oh, thousands. And it's so weird because I put that video up. And normally you put a video up and then, you might look at it an hour later and there's 8 views. And you're like, 8 views, that's cool. Or 20 views. You're like, 20, that's not bad.
Yeah.
This one I put up and then I think half an hour later I looked and there was 8,000. And I was like, 8,000? That's ridiculous. Like, that's mega. Oh, that's awesome. And then I was going to bed. So I went to bed for 3 hours. I went to bed. Anyway, when I got up, it was like 25,000. I'm like,
wow,
this is going through the roof. This is crazy. I need to put more stuff up.
Do I need security now?
Yeah. Am I famous? Do I need to look out my window? And then throughout the week, it just kept going and going and going and going. And now, 1.3 million and still going up. And it's boosted all the other videos up as well.
Incredible.
Which is, as I said, I mean, it's a funny video.
And what do your kids think now that you're on TikTok and that you've got 1.3 million views on it?
Yeah. Well, I don't let them have TikTok on there. They're only 9 and 5. So.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't know what's going to, as you said, you don't know what's going to pop up on there. But a lot of people at the gym have seen this video. Yeah. It's just been on their feed and they go, oh, that's the guy from the gym.
Yeah.
And they go, yeah, that's me. I talk like this all the time.
That's me. We don't have any audio because that's obviously how you do talk when you're not on the podcast.
Right. I can put audio on there if you want. I can dub it.
And I get, just as a reference point, there was a nice little video that I saw that popped up after the weekend of you training with Gunter Boykov's.
I just happened to have it.
There we go. So, and this is the revenge video. Right. So this is Matt basically. Well, I think you're not just searching for positioning; you're doing everything you can to get his head to the pit, and giving it everything. Kind of thinking, I know he's not really trying, so maybe I can just slip one in here. There's yours truly in the background.
Yeah,
just jumping in on the banter.
That's right.
These guys having good fun. That's what we're talking about. Gunter's. He trains once a year. Look at that! Look at that forearm. Look at that! Look at him. He's just insane.
Phenomenal.
And he's just pulling you. He's actually just leaning over his shoulder. He's not losing any position by letting you get closer. Not in the slightest. Like that, his whole body's rocked back at any point in time. He's not even applying any back pressure. You can see he applies minute amounts of back pressure here and there. There, hands off the peg, pointing it out. Matt's hanging off him.
Absolutely. That's the thing. You can feel that somebody could just rip through your hand at any moment they want. That's why I was laughing. I'm like, I know you can pull out of this. But this was his. Well, not
he'd seen this. He'd seen your TikTok video before.
That's
Good
right.
to know that Gunter's is on TikTok.
Absolutely.
And he's like, this is like that video. This is you were trying. He was trying, and now you are him.
Now you suck.
Now you are the loser.
You are the weak. Get out of here, you.
Let's see how you go against world champion. We'll see how you think.
That's right. You think this is bad neighborhood?
He's Natalie Strong. Good old Nat. Shout out to Nat. She's one of our previous guests on the podcast. So look at you. You're blocking yourself. You're trying to beat me and you.
I was trying, but I completely forgot. And it's like a rookie mistake to leave your arm, your supporting arm, that's holding the peg, and not and not move it so you've got movement to be able to. Yeah, and it was laying on the table.
I did the same thing with him, and he was saying, "You're trying to beat me, and you get to." Like, no, you don't understand. I know I'm not going to get to the pin. I'm just trying something else.
Yeah, that's right.
This is me. I can't. But hilarious. It's just crazy when you meet somebody who is that next level again.
Yeah.
And it's a shame we couldn't get that man on the left of screen on the tables with Mario Tembakis a couple of weekends ago, but it would have been absolutely
in the future.
spectacular. I'm sure we're going to see those two men standing across the padded table sometime very, very soon. Do you like that?
Hey?
Not the squared circle, the padded table. The padded table.
The padded room.
The padded room.
Remember when they came out with the iPad and everyone thought it was the most ridiculous name ever because it sounded like a tampon sort of thing. Like the
what did they say?
Like the iPad.
Yeah. Oh, right. Oh, was that a thing, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. But
people were a bit critical about
it. But now it's been so ingrained into...
I never even put two and two together, and now I have. I can't have
go
one.
back.
I can't use it. I'm not going to get Samsungs now.
It's like, and here's another one for you. The Xbox One, when they brought that out, the Xbox One, so XB1 was the acronym, but when you read it as one word, it's Xbone. So, you're going to get the PlayStation, you're going to get the Xbone. I have a lot of useless trivia knowledge.
I just love that I'm on your TikTok. Look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, where are you?
Yeah, it's a couple of little bits there. I saw myself. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So,
that's me and Devin. That's me lifting weights.
That's me and Devin. That's just me.
That's me pumps. Showing off. And
that's me with my shirt off. That's me coming out of the water.
With my shirt off again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that.
There's a little bit of that, but
you've got to be on here somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen myself 3 or 4 times.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't see you at all.
I'm gone now. It's up top.
You're in the past.
Yeah, I was in the past. I'm on the top.
Oh, there you are. Yeah,
I'm there, and then there was another.
That's us on the podcast.
That's us. Look at us. Look, that's just talking.
That's like this right now, and it was Hubbywood.
Hubbywood. So,
just very briefly, can you just run us through the MMA side of things? Just very, I know you're in a rush and you got to.
Oh, I'm in a terrible rush. The MMA. You know what I need is a card in front of me. Have we got a card or something? I can slowly. Can you find? I'm sure we can get one up on the. Let's have a look here on the Diamondback staff page. There might be something here.
DiamondbackFC.com.au, the premier organisation for MMA in this country.
Anywhere in the world. The world's greatest MMA promotion.
Oh, it's not .au, sorry.
Oh,
cool. I'm going to say that again. DiamondbackFC.com.
It's the greatest ever. It's DiamondbackFC.com.
Yeah, not .au.
No. Ike yelled at me for saying it once.
Oh, did he? He yelled at you?
Well...
Do you need a safe space?
He might not have yelled at me. He might have just looked at me in a yelly kind of way.
Did he raise an eyebrow?
He doesn't even have to.
I thought you could say he doesn't have eyebrows.
You just know you've disappointed him. That's enough.
I was very happy to send him the ticket money that we raised for arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Because obviously, from our side of things, it was a privilege to be part of it.
Yes.
And then he allowed us to sell discounted tickets to the people that were into the arm wrestling tournament.
Oh, yeah, that was very generous in that way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then, to be able to say, hey, mate, I've got a few $1,000s for you. And I sent it through. It was like, oh, this is nice. A nice feeling to be able to do that,
Yeah. And, especially in these times where it is so difficult for any event organisers to, given the ever-changing COVID situation and how difficult it is to... have you got it up there? Are we going through...
I can't hear.
Here we go.
Might be tricky. I'll see if I can zoom on it.
Yeah. That's the last event. That's the 29th of Feb.
Okay,
so we are at that Diamondback 10. I don't know if the cards are on the Facebook page, and if they
there
are,
was
there might
some
be
changes at the
I
last
don't think
minute,
they've
wasn't there?
updated the.
Well, I mean, we don't have to run through each fight, but just the overall feel.
Oh, I'd say the overall,
vibe.
the gist of it,
vibe of
the
the
gist
event.
of it. So, well, actually, I feel bad in doing that because there was some really good. There were some really good fights, and I just want to pay tribute to the fighters in particular, and be respectful to their efforts, and also for our for all of the officials and judges, the referees from ISCA who put on a great show and do a great job of supporting DFC and delivering these events, and all of those guys were fantastic and are fantastic to work with. Behind the scenes, there's a fantastic group of people. Rich Warner, who is one of the commentators, spends an enormous amount of time preparing. And I will say, in listening back to Rich's call of both the MMA card and the kickboxing card, it was exceptional. He's quite the resource, and I would say was the best call that I can. The best call I can recall for an Australian event sometime. So, congratulations to Rich. He did a fantastic job. Now I'm just looking at my Facebook feed. So, why can't I find that? That should be just so simple.
Well, what about some of the highlights? I did hear your call of Sekou
Kamara?
yeah, and I remember that was your favourite name to call out, and I went,
Sekou Kamara.
A big cheer for Sekou.
Sekou was very warmly received, although I don't think... I need to have the names in front of me.
Yeah. I think he did actually lose that fight, though, I believe, first round. From what I remember, I was watching from the other side of an oval, so I don't really remember. But yeah, it was a lot of the people that did attend the event did stick around. Well, I guess that's what they were coming for originally, was for the MMA. That's sort of how the entire event was built around people coming to see the MMA card. So there was a big crowd, Norwood Oval, premier location, professional. There was a pay-per-view live stream. There was 3 commentators. We had yourself as the ring announcer. It was a very high-quality event. So with some amazing fights. And unfortunately, there was a couple of fights that dropped out like in the days leading up.
Yeah, very difficult for the event promoters with COVID playing a major role. I've got it all in front of me.
Oh, great.
Should we start again?
Yeah.
So, Diamondback Fighting Championship held the Apex Sports Fest, and of course, at the end of that, the day crescendoed in DFC 13. Normally, you'd find on a DFC card anything up to 13 or 14 fights scheduled. Not all. In all cases will they find their way to the night, because that's just the nature of things. But on this occasion, there were several last minute interruptions thanks to COVID and some last minute injuries, and so we found ourselves with a card of 8 fights, 8 very high quality fights as well, and we had Ali Al-Kathimi against Sekou Kamara straight off the bat, and Ali taking the victory on that occasion. Fantastic. We've seen Sekou Kamara in a Pride Fight Series as well as at DFC events, and he's made a great name for himself. Always presents professionally, looks in great condition, but on this occasion, Ali got the win, and quite convincingly. But the second fight for the night, James Marshall and Bharat Gaklu. I did announce it better on the night.
Sure.
Bharat came to the fight last minute, and so he came all the way from Victoria. He had been training, but he hadn't been preparing specifically for James. James, on the other hand, had been preparing for another opponent, and so last minute changes. Both fighters accepted the fight. I got a feeling it might have been at catchweight in the end, but on this occasion, James was very, very prepared, and regardless of who his opponent may be, and James came away with the victory on that occasion. The first female fight for the night, and maybe the first and only female fight on the card on this occasion. Normally DFC is speckled with fantastic female talent, but on this occasion, just the one fight on the card. Talia Greats, who's a favourite of ours here on the Daily Combat podcast, against Amina Hadaya.
I did watch this fight. When I saw that I heard you call out the Great White Greats. I was like, oh, we're going to watch this one.
The Great White Greats. Yeah.
Went right up to cage side and watched it. What were your thoughts on the fight?
So, first and foremost, many mightn't be completely aware that Talia's trainer is her dad,
right?
And Josh, she's very close to her dad and her mum, but both mum and dad had caught COVID, and a couple of weeks before that, Talia had COVID as well. So it worked its way through the household in the lead up to this fight. Most fighters and some fighters on this card walked away from fights because of very similar circumstances. Yeah. Talia, on the other hand, kept her hand held high and stepped into the cage. This is Talia's second fight in the cage. Talia's built quite a strong reputation in the kickboxing ring, and has made a name in Muay Thai. And in her last fight, won as a result of knockout by kicks from memory, or technical knockout.
It was the one with the knees.
At the knees,
yeah.
By knees, yeah.
It was like 15 knees in a row,
something like that, and against very highly thought of opponent as well. I think the Queensland champion, it might have been Samara. It might have been Samara. Yeah. Yes, Samara. Oh goodness.
We'll come back to it.
So, but Talia, the Great White Greats, was indeed the crowd favourite. I don't think we heard a bigger cry from the crowd after announcing anybody's name other than Talia's. So there was huge expectations on the local girl, but Amina, my goodness, I mean, what a striker. Not only a striker, it came in fantastic condition, and against the depleted Talia Greats, performed or executed her game plan beautifully. So unfortunately that fight was ended early for Talia. I saw Talia just after the final fight, and she came out of the change rooms and she could barely open her eyes, and she was saying that she was heading off to KFC with her boyfriend after, just to flinch every time he looked at her, just so that people thought he was a woman basher. It's a good fun for Talia and her boyfriend on the way home. So, but a lovely young couple, and Talia certainly she performed admirably given the circumstances, not having a dad in a corner and not being able to train as hard as what she would have liked to in the lead up to that. I'm sure Talia will be back for more.
Give a technical breakdown at all on that, of my thoughts on.
Would you like to share your technical breakdown, your technical thoughts on that? Because you were ringside.
I was. I snuck past. I don't know how I was just able to walk straight up to the side of the cage.
Did you buy a ticket? Did you pay the extra?
I didn't buy it. I was running the arm wrestling. I'm the guy who does the arm wrestling.
Oh, you're the arm wrestling guy? Oh, come on over. Have a seat by the cage.
Yeah, that's all. Pretty much. When I went to drive in, pack up at the end, there was a guard on the gate, and I said, I need to drive over there to get my stuff. And he goes, what stuff? And I said, the arm wrestling stuff. I said, I'm running the arm wrestling event. And he goes, you got any ID or anything? And I'm like,
arm wrestling ID.
Do you want like a driver's license or something? And he goes, no, like the arm wrestling thing. And I was like, and I'm wearing an arm wrestling shirt. And he sees, and I go, the shirt. And he goes, oh yeah, that's fine.
We'll take the shirt, get in there, crazy kid.
And then he locked the gates on me. I couldn't get out.
Hilarious.
Anyway, but sorry to go on that tangent there.
That's right.
Talia, in that fight, it was a 3-round fight. Pretty much the whole fight was on the feet.
Yeah.
What was the other girl's name?
Amina
So,
Hadaya.
Amina, very strong overhand right, which she used effectively in several flurries early in the first round, which I think made Talia a little gun shy. She landed to the arm. Like a lot of these overhand rights sort of landed up in, I saw in Talia's upper arm. They weren't thrown at the face or the head until later in the fight. But she was throwing 6-7 punches at once in a big flurry. Which I think, I'm not sure if Talia might have been a little caught off guard of that, or maybe she got injured quite quickly or something like that. But from watching from the outside, she seemed very hesitant to throw. And she was moving well. Her footwork was fine. Her defense was fine. She just wasn't. There was no offense. And I was feeling like, please throw something. Like you've got the openings. You're in the right positions. You're in the right positions to throw, but I think the times she did move forward and throw, and to Amina's credit, when Talia would throw, she would throw at the same time. So it was like, if you're going to throw something, you're going to get hit back at the same time, which I think really put that pressure on. Like, I don't want to keep getting hit, and especially leading into the third round. By that, there was an accumulation of damage that Talia had sustained. And there was a big flurry from Amina at the start of the third round, which, to Talia's credit, she mostly blocked. She had a good guard up and she was rolling with the punches. Yeah. But from a judge's perspective, she was getting battered around, as in those strikes were pushing her whole body left and right, which shows the power that Amina was throwing with. Talia did have some success with some knees. When in the second round, they did very briefly go to the ground. Talia did get a bit of a tie clinch, land some decent knees. Wasn't enough to win that round. So overall, Amina won and rightly a unanimous decision. But would have liked to have seen Talia throw more. And there might be a
interesting
story
that it went
it.
to unanimous decision, even though it talks to Talia's plucky nature.
Yeah.
Did exceptionally well.
Absolutely.
Fought really well. The next fight, I'm going to fuck this up again because we had some last minute rearrangements, which actually led to me announcing one of the athletes as they came in. So I think originally, if we return back here, we were expecting Brandon the Great White. So we had Brandon the Great White straight after Talia the Great White Greats. Okay. So we did have Brandon the Great White, and he was to fight Adam Collette, but he did not fight Adam Collette on the night. He fought another opponent, and for the life of me, I can't remember who that opponent was right now, but he won. So last minute, turned up. Not only did he win, but then the ring announcer, being a complete dickhead, announced the wrong name for the winner.
The name of the person who wasn't there?
The name of the person that wasn't there.
Right. Is the winner by default. For not
One,
turning up.
because the ring announcers
hey, come
destroying
on.
dreams.
This is what happens.
So that was my fuck up for the night. Now, I don't think Mitch Harmson, Lachlan, oh goodness. Hang on, we've got to get back up here. There we go. Oh, God. We had a little mess around here. So Mitch Harmson versus Lachlan Fletcher. Lachlan taking the win on that occasion from Cardio Flex. Plucky performance again, exceptionally well. And Samuel Najolki against Louis Payson. So the junkyard dog Payson. I don't know if Louis knew he was getting that nickname, but I was told in great confidence by Rich Warner that no, it's a junkyard dog. The junkyard dog. You've got to put it in. So I announced it. Anyway, Louis liked it in the end, and he's now the junkyard dog. So a bit of a WWA
look. Hey? Did he give you a weird look when you said it?
He might have heard it around. Now apparently that nickname was bestowed upon him by his trainer Craig Ike, and at some point, and it gathered some degree of momentum, and Rich decided to propel it into the world of pay-per-view at the event. So Louis Payson, very impressive, and he has been in every bout, full of energy. Samuel Najelki, he's been regular at, essentially he's putting his name down for any fight anywhere, and on this occasion met his measure in Louis Payson. Both fighters put up a great effort, but Louis took it out first round convincingly, and I think we got a window into how savage the Junkyard Dog actually is on that night. So Zach Gregson versus Sam Warren was the penultimate event for the night. It was a title fight, so unusual in this case that the main event was not a title bout. But nonetheless, we had the title fight there between Zach Gregson and Sam Warren. Fantastic fight. Zach Gregson, who won that one? Can't recall.
This was the title fight?
If only I was there.
It's a big day.
It's a big day. It's a big, long day. So we'll run straight over that one. So the main event of the evening was Damon Upton Green, all the way over from Tasmania, fighting against Cardio Flex's own Lyle Kararam. Now, Lyle maybe had the most support in the crowd of any of the male fighters that was there. They all happened to be standing right behind me. So his mum was there, made it all the way down from Queensland.
Wow.
So Lyle's history is that he's a young South African chap, and has performed in South Africa's version of DFC, EFC, I believe. Very professional promotion, and has fought admirably over there. And Lyle, he came prepared. Lyle's performance was nothing short of stunning, and he, I think, gave the world a taste as to what's to come. I heard some quiet whispers afterwards that Lyle, being in the same club as Shane Triple A Mitchell, might prove to be an issue at some point, because both fighters fight in the same weight category, same division, and both are enormous talents, and both have been knocking on the door of the UFC. Certainly Shane still holds the position as the number one guy there at Cardio Flex, but after the performance there, interestingly, Shane was the main event at the last Apex Sport Fest, and this time Lyle was, and Lyle's performance was it was staggering. It was exceptional.
I didn't see it. What happened?
Lots of fighting. Lyle took it out quite convincingly by way of knockout, and it was a very impressive performance.
I did see that.
Yeah.
As I was trying to get the guard to unlock the gate.
This ties into your story.
But it was it was replaying on the screen, and I was like, "Oh, there's a knockout."
It was so impressive. And he looked good the whole time. Looked in complete control of the fight. What was interesting was after the first round, most fighters, they're somewhat spent. The adrenaline's kind of washed away, and they're taking in deep breaths. Lyle was pacing.
Wow,
pacing like a lion, like staring down his opponent. Didn't sit down until basically his corner said, come on, sit down. But as soon as the bell went at the end of the round, he walked to his corner and he paced back and forth between the poles and the octagon, staring at his opponent like, I'm ready. I don't need to sit down. I'm ready. That sight in itself was something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for the showmanship. He was fired up. He was fired up, but not fired up in this reckless, emotional way. Like fired up as in a determined, focused kind of way. And from that moment forward, I don't think there was any doubt in anybody's mind who was going to be walking away with their hand held high at the end of that night. And I was fortunate enough to have a brief chat with Lyle and his family, mainly to explain to, just to not to explain, but to apologise to Lyle for calling him Kyle almost twice. Did when I announced him to come out. Apparently, the story goes that the CardioFlex guys heard me call up Kyle Karum and Kyle Crusher Karum, and I don't know how I got that wrong exactly, right? But anyway, I did. And so as he's walking out, his team's saying, "Hey, Kyle Lyle, how you going?" Giving him a bit of shit. So I hope it fired him up all the more. And it seems to have had the effect, so I might fuck it up next time. For him
exactly.
And then, of course, Ike, being the complete professional that he is, ran across and caught my ear, and he said, "It's Lyle, not Kyle. Don't worry about it now. Just when he wins, get it fucking right then."
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. And then I fucked it up again because I was trying to.
I'm just imagining he just going.
No. Did he do? No, actually, just in the post match interview, in the heat of the moment, I went, Kyle. But anyway, he was very. I will say, Lyle was extremely gracious, and but not only that, but fantastic young guy. Great to have a chat to afterwards. His mum and his whole family were there. Come down, so a lot of support from those guys. Big chunk of the South African community came along to encourage him as well. And in the car park at the end of the night, he shared his thoughts on the night, and was very happy with the way his preparation went, and then coming into the fight, he had his mindset right, and in his mind, it wasn't going to go any other way. So he's onwards and upwards, and ready for bigger and better things. And I think of all the fighters, there was one to me that shone the brightest of the male competitors of the night, and that would have been Lyle.
Yeah.
Lyle Karum. He an outstanding young talent, deserving of his nickname Crusher, and I think we're going to see some huge things from Lyle during 2022-23.
What about a match between him and Shane Mitchell?
Yeah, well, I don't know what corner Craig Ike would sit in on that occasion, but that may be what in a perfect world, Shane Mitchell will be in the UFC in the coming months, and leave that little bit of breathing room for somebody like Lyle to occupy the vacuum. And so we hope from Australia's MMA perspective that we don't see that. We would love to see Shane fighting in the big leagues very, very soon. And actually wonderful to see Shane there as well, the winner from last year, and current DFC champion. He popped along to the event. Such a lovely young guy, just back from Lapland in Finland. Went over for holidays, and he's come back fresh and ready for more in 2022-23. So exciting times for MMA, exciting times for CardioFlex, exciting times for DFC, and from what I understand, the guys are really plotting away for the next one.
Awesome.
Yeah, lots to look forward to. So if you're going to now be the time to maybe jump on and to diamondbackfc.com and check out the pay-per-view, because it's up there. It's live for $36. You can see the whole card. You can see much of what happened during the course of the entire day, and see some of these amazing events we were talking about earlier on in the podcast. Importantly, you can catch both of those cards that we were talking about. Both cards were exciting to watch. The Muay Thai, kickboxing, and the MMA card. So you'll definitely get your $36 worth if you didn't come along on the day. It'll give you not just the highlights, but the entirety of each and every bout, and Rich's amazing call during both cards. So. DFC. The next one's being drawn up as we speak. So jump on there and
It's even cheaper.
It's even cheaper. Maybe you want to go over there. Official live stream replays. Oh, not bad. I paid $36. Maybe I should have waited a couple of days. So jump on there for $17. What's that? $25? $24?
Yeah, Australian $24.
$24. Get yourself a replay of Diamondback FC's latest event. And both the MMA card. I think you get both the MMA card and the Muay Thai and kickboxing cards for the Apex Sport Fest. So jump on there, get yourself a pay-per-view and soak up some spectacular sporting action. A great day, a fantastic event, and something we can't wait to see next year. Yeah. So from us, we rated a 10 out of 10,
yep.
and we'll definitely be back there next year
for their third inaugural year,
the third
debut.
The third debut. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast once again. It's always a joy to have you listening in wherever you may be around this wonderful world of ours. And any further thoughts before we head away for tonight?
Maybe a double bicep to finish off.
Is there a double bicep?
I think we'll give it a go.
You give it a go.
Okay.
Bang! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. So we'll have a whole lot more coming your way with combat and strength sport action very, very soon. Good night, Australia.
Australia and the world.